Man City is leading the Antoine Semenyo race. Story coming in through from Fabrizio Romano. And when he speaks, you know that he's speaking from a well-sourced point of view. Carl Palmer is yet another point of discussion today from his manager known as Enzo Maresca. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Today being Christmas, there hasn't been any huge activity in there, and obviously a lot has not been happening. No African Cup of Nations, haven't gone ahead obviously see in Premier League game, but tomorrow Man United plays Newcastle, and on Saturday, Nottingham, Man City, West Ham, Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth, Liverpool plays Wolverhampton Wanderers in there. So those are the games. And Arsenal will also be taking on Brighton. That is on Saturday in there for you. So we welcome you to this channel. Continue to subscribe because you know what the number we want to hit is. We want to hit 30,000 subscribers on this channel, and continue to subscribe to see to it that all really goes on well as planned. And we are here to see to it that we bring you the latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned, right? And I love you guys, and I really love you all. So that is it. Let's obviously get into this Antoine Semenyo race. Now, he has been linked to close to 5 Premier League teams, including Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, which other? Arsenal, and very many others. You know, even Newcastle and Spurs have been really cooking up for this. Now, this is what has been happening, and it has been happening in these days. And Fabrizio Romano went ahead to put out a story that I think some people might not like it, but it is what it is, and I'm here to bring you the news as it comes in through. And hero, I dedicate this video to you. Lecturer, here you go, because this is a video for you. Understand Man City have been pushing a lot in the last 12 hours to try to advance on Antoine Semenyo deal. Director Viana in direct talks with players camp as Manchester City want final answer as soon as possible. Man United still insisting, Liverpool monitoring, Chelsea are out. So it shows you that teams are still pushing, but Man City were pushing a lot in the last 12 to 24 hours to get the deal of Antoine Semenyo done. Now, to bring up to speed, the deal of Antoine Semenyo is really one of those deals that is being eyed by very many teams. And as it stands, a lot has been said. A lot has been done. But in the due course of a lot being done, there had to come out what we call a standout. There had to come out what we call a standout candidate to obviously outrace the others. And that has obviously come to one player. And that player is none other than and that candidate is none other than Man City. Man City have gone ahead to show huge potential to obviously sign the player, and they're like, we need him. We want to take him because we feel like his services are really badly needed at the club of Man City, and it is what Pep wants. Remember, Taxi Begristan is no longer the sporting director of Man City. Viana, who was with Ruben Amorim at Manchester United, is the sporting director for this team, and he now wants to take this down. Remember, they are now in talks with players camp as Man City want final answer as soon as possible. Now, what they've gone ahead to do is they know that the player has a release clause of 65 million pounds by 10th January. And when the player is in that case, you obviously know what we do. You know, What the club does is go outside there and you go outside there and agree personal terms with the player. No sooner you agree personal terms with the player than you obviously get yourself there. So that is it. And now, a club as Man City is trying to convince the player Antoine Semenyo to join them, because we've been told that his preferences for starters were Arsenal, if they came in for him, and a club known as Liverpool. Liverpool is still in the race, and the injury of Alexander Isak is obviously gonna put them in a situation of really pushing hard to see to it that they sign a forward in this January transfer window. Though I believe they need defender and a midfielder first, because their forward line is really good. Even if Isak is injured, you are having Salah, Cody Gakpo, Alexander Isak, you're having Sobasilai, you are having Florian Wirtz. Who else? So they're having players, and I think if they can strengthen their midfield, they can really have a very huge creative force, as they really do the needful for the club. So that is it for Man City. They are battling for Antoine Semenyo, and they are leading the race. That's what we've gone ahead to get. They are leading the race for Antoine Semenyo. And I believe that Antoine Semenyo is not going to be a player of Bournemouth by the end of the winter transfer window. But with the player looking at Arsenal as his first priority, if Arsenal comes in and sweeps in, it might obviously beat all of them. But I don't think that there is urgency at Arsenal to sign a forward. I think the urgency at Arsenal is to sign in a versatile player who can play in the midfield, right back, and in the central defense. I think that's the kind of profile a player that Arsenal really go ahead to need in this winter transfer window. So we wait to see how that pans out. But as we say, as Fabrice has gone ahead to tell us, we are just here waiting to see what the result is obviously gonna be. You understand? So that is it for the side of Man City. Liverpool, Chelsea's out. Chelsea's out of the race, meaning that we are now having Manchester United, who are still insisting to obviously get the player. I don't know why they're insisting to get a player there, yet they need a midfielder fast in there. Then Man City and Liverpool. So 3 teams are interested in Antoine Semenyo, and we've been told that they're really working tooth and nail to obviously get the deal done and dusted. But it's all about the player. Whoever the player gives green light, he will obviously go ahead and put in the bid and trigger the release clause. But remember, for Man United, they want to agree on to a payment plan, meaning that if they agree to a payment plan, then it will exceed £65 million, and maybe they'll call in for more £5 to £10 million. And they're like, because you've gone ahead to obviously not trigger it at once, and you want a proper payment plan, then you will pay us such and such amount of money. That is it for Semenyo to Man City, and City is leading the race for now as we speak. Now, Chelsea, they are playing Aston Villa on Saturday. That is it. Being that they are playing Aston Villa on Saturday, the press conference was held, and one of the best players at Leeds Chelsea is Carl Palmer, and the other is Morgan Rogers. And the manager was asked a question on whether he would swap Morgan Rogers for Carl Palmer. He said, no, I love Carl Palmer and Carl is my player. Now, do you know why they're going to pose him? Do you know why they've gone ahead obviously pose that question to him? Because these 2 players were in the academy of Man City. Morgan Rogers, you know that very well. And the same applies to Enzo Maresca. Same applies to Carl Palmer. And they've gone ahead obviously pose that question to him because they needed an answer from him. And he's like, Carl Palmer is my player. And over March, Morgan Rogers has proven that he's really a very good player and he's working for fun. And he's one of those players that I think won't be at Aston Villa come next summer. I don't think that I could pick him or really choose him ahead of Carl Palmer on any day. The reason is Carl Palmer is a special kind of player. These Morgan Rogers kind of players are really there. You get? Are really there. You understand? He has gone ahead to score 7 goals and 3 assists in 17 Premier League games this season. 10 goal involvements, which surpasses what he really went ahead to put out last season. Last season, 8 goals. So far, he scored 8 last season. So far, in 17, he has 7 and 10 assists. So far, he has 3 in there for you. And all I've gotten to know is simple, that he's 23 years of age, and when you look at Carl Palmer, he's also 23 years of age. They were at Man City at the same time, in the same team. So Enzo Maresca knows them very well. But he's like, Palmer is the player that I want. And I could also choose Carl Palmer ahead of this guy. Because for Carl Palmer, he is playing at a team that really has a lot of pressure. You understand? That's what people really tend to forget. And last season, 37 games, 15 goals and 8 assists. At Man City, he surpassed Morgan Rogers, who was at Aston Villa. You get? So the pressures really differ. And he has only going to hit to play 7 games this season because of the injuries, but so far he has 2 goals onto his name. And I know he will really outscore him if at all he keeps himself fit throughout the season. That is Carl Palmer for you. And I really love the player. I love Carl Palmer, and he's really one of the best players that I think English football is going to hate to face. That's why I'm really very annoyed with Ruben Amorim for not giving Kobbie Mainoo ample playing time. And I'm one of those who want to see him moved on to another club to obviously get ample playing time. I would imagine the midfield of England having Declan Rice, Kobbie Mainoo, and Carl Palmer. I would love to see that midfield. Because that means the connection of Cole Palmer and Kobbie Mainoo will obviously be maverick if you've been following up onto how they've been playing in there for you. So that is all about Carl Palmer, and the manager was asked that question in relation to having gone ahead, obviously, be having these players at Man City, in the unders of Man City, and then these clubs obviously going to be facing themselves on Saturday in there. So let's obviously get to Enzo Maresca. He was also asked a question on whether Carl Palmer is ready to play 90 minutes. This is what he said. Yes, Carl Palmer is now finally ready to play full 90 minutes. You get? That's coming in from the manager. That is Enzo Maresca, approving that the player is now ready to play full 90 minutes, meaning that in the game of Aston Villa, he's obviously going to be starting. So your thoughts on Man City leading the Antoine Semenyo race are welcome in the comment section below. And Carl Palmer, obviously, being one of those players that the manager of Man City will never think or even dropping if he's available. And tell me, of the 2 players, Morgan Rogers and Carl Palmer, who do you obviously have in your team? Rokani David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. And we are obviously out for now. And see you when you see me. Thank you for being part of this wonderful video. Right? We out.